Alrighty, so we have the brand new Chaos Arthur announced. We just got done with the live stream. Thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out if you were part of it. If you want to be a part of it next time and you weren't around, feel free to subscribe so that way you get notified whenever I go live and everything. But, obviously it depends on, how, or like time zones and everything. They do these live streams really early in the morning for me in the US. So, I assume a lot of you guys probably either aren't around, which is why I'm kind of making this like recap video. So, we have the new Chaos Arthur. He is a UR based character. So kind of like Melee, you're going to have to use a lot of UR pendants, which is a bit unfortunate. He is green, though, which is kind of cool. You can see they have him 6'6", and they have him with 76,000 CC, which is really, really good. We're going to go over the character's skills and everything a little bit. Translations are courtesy of Kane over in the 70s Leaks Discord, so shout out to him. But we have Broken Balance, Chaos Arthur. King of Chaos is his passive. For every human ally participating in battle, increase the human ally's basic stats by 5%, so a little bit of a buffer, which is kind of nice. For one ultimate move gauge increase among the human allies by skill use, skill move, or rank up, apply Call of Chaos to the unit. So this is basically any time one of your units on the field, as long as they're human, gains an ultimate move gauge, whether you use a skill or like merge them or whatever, he's going to gain one stack of his passive. When Call of Chaos is at max stacks, which is 4, at the start of the ally's turn, remove all stacks of Call of Chaos and apply Chaos's domination to the unit for 2 turns. So the Call of Chaos stacks are critical defense is plus 10%, so he's going to be really tanky, and maximum HP is increased by 5%. So this stacks up to 4 times. So that's 20% HP, 40% critical defense, which is pretty insane. Chaos's domination, which is the one that you get whenever all of the stacks are removed, is taunts enemies. And this is a gray taunt. You'll see it whenever we go over the PvP a little bit. Taunts enemies, maximum HP is plus 30%, so still making them really hefty. So if you already have that one on, and then you start to apply more Call of Chaos stacks, you're going to get, extra crit defense and even more HP. So he's really tough to kill. Remove 2 debuffs applied to the unit. When using a skill, apply extra damage by 25% of the unit's max HP. So you're going to be gaining a lot of HP, and he's going to do more damage, depending on how much HP he actually has. So it doesn't seem to be necessarily like an attack crit based unit or anything. You could run HP defense for like more CC, just more heft. His attack skills, although, are still based on attack stat, so do note that you're not necessarily going to be just wanting to run pure HP on him, but the HP could actually work a little bit with his passive. His skills, on the other hand, his first skill is called Flash or Divine Slash, which has a flash effect of 200% on a single enemy, so a single target flash card, and it is 2 times crit chance, 2 times crit damage on debuffed units. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the same card that Aaron has, the blue Aaron. I could be wrong, maybe it's a different skill effect, but it's very similar, if not the same thing. Wicked Bite is his secondary effect, and it is a Flood AoE card that puts Seal of Darkness on the enemy for 1 turn. And this is basically a brand new infect, just like the Demon King got when he got his infect, which is seals heal-related effects and reduces AoE damage by 30%. So it is a red debuff that gets applied to the enemy, so do be aware that, Melee is still going to be very relevant. So if you put this on and you don't have any other debuffs on, he's probably just going to cleanse this off. But reducing the AoE damage is pretty interesting. They've been very, against AoEs lately, with certain characters sealing AoEs completely, and now he's going to lower AoE damage, which is kind of weird. But it's also an infect, so it's really good. Let's look really quickly at the skill effects here. Let me move this out of the way, and then we'll go over the ultimate, just because his skill effects do look really good. So this is the single target flash skill. You can see it's kind of like got this really nice yellow glow to it. It's sort of like goddess-esque, and then the AoE, on the other hand, is very like demon-esque. So here is the AoE like card. It's got like way more sinister vibes to it. These really big teeth kind of come up and sort of like, or like maybe they're thorns, sort of just, grab the enemies. I think it looks fantastic. I really love the skill animations and everything. So really big fan of that. They talk about the ultimate for half an hour here because it's so long, but we'll let them sort of talk about it while You'll see the animation for it in the background while we talk about what it actually does. So his ultimate is Into the Chaos. Apply Power of Chaos to all allies for 3 turns. Inflict Sever damage by 750% of attack on all enemies. That ignores enemies' crit resistance or crit defense by 50%, and apply 4 stacks of Call of Chaos to the unit. So you're going to guarantee maxing out his Call of Chaos stacks. I assume this is at 6/6. He'll probably gain like 1 or 2 stacks of Call of Chaos at the very beginning. And I don't know exactly how big the boost for Call of Chaos is going to be, or Power of Chaos is going to be, but you can see down here, Power of Chaos is all stats is plus 20%, reduce damage taken from ultimate moves by 50%, which I'm not a big fan of the ultimate move limiter kind of thing. Not as big on that, but I guess it is what it is. The all stats is going to be pretty big, and the fact that it's for all allies is kind of interesting. I guess the big kicker there is, will it be 20% at 1/6. I highly doubt it. So this is the ultimate move animation really quickly. You can see it kind of like plunges him into the Chaos Realm, I think, which is super cool. Then you've got some pieces kind of like breaking off here and then like kind of coming together in the middle. So very cool. It is an AoE, so it's going to hit everybody. On top of that, when participating in battle, if the unit has Power of Chaos applied, which is the all stats increases the unit's damage dealing by 40% and reduce damage taken by 30%. So even more heft on top of a damage dealt increase. So pretty big stuff. His all of his buffs that he applies to himself seem to be gray, which is pretty good. At least I think that they were all gray. Okay, so the all stats increase is still blue, but the Call of Chaos stacks that he gains and the Chaos's Domination, which is the one with the taunt, those do actually have gray debuffs. So very, very interesting there. The character is looking pretty sick. I actually do like a lot of his costumes. The stream, when we were looking at him, did not seem to agree as much. They did not like his costumes all that much, but he has these cool dark armor. He has this sort of like outlaw cowboy looking outfit, which I'm probably never going to wear, but I do think that it looks kind of cool. And then I don't know what to call this this last one right here, but it is it's actually pretty cool. I don't know what kind of culture this would kind of be from. It kind of looks sort of Indian to me, but I could be wrong on that. I really don't know. Either way, I think it looks pretty cool. The haircut that comes with it is pretty interesting as well. So I'll probably rock the haircut with it. He has a calf sort of like plushy sort of haircut, which I think is kind of cool. You can see the dark sort of wing from the armor set. You have the cowboy hat, which is cool. I think the cowboy stuff is really neat. I'll never use it, but it's still kind of cool looking. And then you kind of have sort of like the swept haircut from the last one, which I typically like haircuts like that. So I'll probably use that with like the dark armor, but personal preference there, of course. Let me swap a little bit into the PvP a little bit, but before we look at that, I do want to show you guys the banner because I'm sure you guys are curious about it. So let me swap over to the character information so you can see that he is a UR character. The banner is very weird, I'm going to be honest with you. It's like a weird split between like demons and humans for some reason. LR Escanor is not in the banner, but they are going to be doing a free banner that comes out with this festival as well. And LR Escanor is actually a free unit that you get from that banner, so he's like guaranteed. But you can see we have Ultimate Escanor, Transcendent Bond, which is interesting, but honestly, without Escanor having like a Holy Relic or anything, I don't know how useful he's actually going to be in this meta. We have Margaret, which is great because she is an LR. I still need one more copy. I know a lot of people already have her maxed out, so still kind of a weird choice to have in the banner overall. And then you have Purgatory Melee, Berserk Estarossa, and Old School Festival Zeldris, which are 3 kind of odd characters. Obviously, like, they're not going to throw UR Melee on here just yet, but I don't know. Purgatory Melee is not like the greatest character, now that the new Melee is out, but maybe you could use some copies of him. I don't know. You do have some really heavy hitters in here, so you have Tyr and you have Roxy, of course, and then there's just a bunch of like weird Ragnarok support as well. So you have Red Magelda, Freyr, Brunhild, Freya, the green summer one, and then you have Summer Margaret. You also have the Archangel stuff here, so you have Summer Margaret, you have Red Tarmiel, Green Sariel, Green Ludociel, who, he's not on a whole lot of banners, so maybe you could use him. And then you have the Demon backliner support with Demon Cusack, Demon Chandler, and then you have Spring Elizabeth, who's probably one of the worst characters in the game. Not like worst, but like just a weird character that not a lot of people are going to get use out of. And then you have Green Elat as the goddess backliner. So it's just a really weird, jumbled up mess. I don't know if that's supposed to be the theme here because it's Chaos Arthur, but very odd banner. Obviously, because he's a UR character, we've seen this with Melee. You cannot pull him on the 300 or 600 guaranteed, which is really unfortunate. I kind of wish that they would just change that, but they did not seem to change it from the last time, so that's unfortunate. You will be able to pity him at the 900, of course, and then hopefully you can pull him in the banner. I wish you the best of luck if you plan on summoning. They do have the power-up tickets, which have a little bit better rates. Don't recommend buying them. They're pretty bad value, to be honest with you. But we do have a free banner as well, where you're going to be able to pull any of these units through the actual summons themselves. You get 10 free summons. They're through a login event for 10 days. And then at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, you're going to get special rewards. So you get a free green Escanor, so you can make him into an LR character if you need to. I'm really glad that they made LR Escanor somewhat accessible during this festival because he's going to be a big part of the human team, of course. You have Red Hawk, who's whatever. I think this is the 4th or 5th copy of Green Arthur, so because we're getting new Chaos Arthur, you're probably not going to run him on the team, but he can be pretty useful for other stuff as well, so just a free copy is nice. And then I think this is the 6/6 copy. Like, I think this is the 6th copy that they're giving out of Blue Griamore, so he should be maxed out with this one. I'm not 100% positive on that. And then at step 10, you get to pick any of the characters from the banner. So you get to pick one unit from the banner lineup. If I'm being honest, the Green Gother and the Red Summer Deanne are still going to be the hot ticket items from this banner, but if you need any of these units, if you don't have them, for example, it could be some decent little box CC for you there, but Red Summer Deanne is super, super nice to have for OG Demon, and then Green Rank Up Gother can be very useful for Belmoth, and he's still just an overall pretty decent character for some game modes in general, namely, like you can use him for Demon King and stuff to rank up character or cards for his gimmicks and stuff, and then you get a couple of free rewards for the mileage as well. So that's it for the banner stuff. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts on the banner are, because I'm not a big fan of it, but it's not terrible. It could have been maybe better. But the PvP is pretty interesting. You can see they do out-CC. They have 381, whereas the Demon team had 376. I think that's pretty good. I think with these characters, you know, Escanor's an LR character, Bon is a high-tier festival character, Chaos Arthur's brand new. I think if you run, like, Christmas Roxy in the back, you could have some really, really good CC. So you can see the first thing that they do is merge the Arthur cards. That's going to give 2 ultimate move gauge, so he gains 2 stacks, and then he double Escanor attacks. So that's all 4 stacks of Arthur's passive already on him, so he has 40% crit defense here. And 20% max HP increase. They did debuff, so because they killed Estarossa, he gains 2 stacks on Melee. They didn't really attack into Arthur all that much here. They seem to focus the LR Escanor the most, which I think is fair considering how much damage Escanor kind of does, but you'll see kind of like they do 2 different matches. The Arthur can deal some really, really good damage. They sort of go all in on the Escanor here, but you know, they're tanking pretty well. He uses the AoE with Melee here. Because Arthur's taunt, which he doesn't have it on yet, he puts it on right here at the beginning of his turn. Because this taunt is tied in with a gray debuff, or a gray buff, it's actually not going to be canceled by Melee. So it's because it's not a stance, it doesn't cancel it or anything, which is really good, so he'll still be able to taunt and everything. And he's just going to be super, super tanky. So they triple Arthur card here, but you'll see they don't even need all 3 cards. The Infect card that he uses, I call it Infect, but the AoE has Flood on the AoE as well as an Infect part to it. So a level 2 and a level 1 is able to kill off the entire team, which is pretty insane, I have to say. Like, that's a lot of damage. It has Flood on it, so he has a lot of HP. They didn't attack him at all, so they're kind of catering into that a little bit. I think if they would have attacked him, obviously Flood kind of falls off a little bit when you use it on the turn 2 or 3. Depending on how much HP your character has lost. Let me swap over to the next PvP showcase here, because they use a little bit more Arthur cards in the beginning. So they get an instant merge on Escanor, so he already has 1 stack on here. I think they use the Arthur cards a little bit earlier in this one, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, apparently not. I think they use them on turn 2, but he does use the single target a little bit. So You could see kills off the Estarossa, which I think is a really good play, because if you're going to put debuffs on while Meli's on the field, you want to try to get rid of a character so he's not going to gain 3 stacks. He only gains 2. So they're getting kind of close to Escanor's ultimate. They do just fight into the Escanor here again, if I'm not mistaken. So let's skip past where they start to like pick their cards and everything. So he uses the Demon King Infect here, or Mark of Death. Puts some damage on. It doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, which he doesn't have his buffs applied yet or anything, so not anything too crazy. Single target there, like I said, doesn't have his buffs, so it's not anything wild. Level 2 Meli card. Almost kills. Does some really good damage, and that's without him having max stacks or anything, but then we get to see them use the Arthur card here. So they Infect first, and then they use the level 1 and then the level 2 single target on Meli. Like I said earlier, his single target is 2 times crit chance, 2 times crit damage against debuffed units. So he has a damage cap, nothing crazy there. But level 2 single target on Meli. He has 3 stacks of his passive, by the way, so that's 30% defense related and does 300k with a crit. So looking pretty strong, looking really good. I think that he looks solid overall. Obviously, you could see Meli did some really good damage there at the beginning. I think depending on the team comp that you're using and depending on if you're going first or second or whatever, I think Meli's still going to be a really strong competitor against this Arthur. I don't think that they're going to have any problems competing, but I do think that this Arthur is going to make the human team a lot more formidable. So if you're not a human fan and you're not really that worried about it, I think you could probably end up skipping this because the banner doesn't have that great of value. I do think that if you're going to want to run humans at any point, you're probably going to want to have this Arthur. So might not be terrible to pick him up while you can, but overall, I think that he's looking really good. He can deal out some really good damage. He's got really like supporty sort of elements to him. He can taunt. He kind of covers all of the bases, which is great. So I think overall he's looking really, really good. The patch itself is looking pretty solid. There's no real like new events or anything, unfortunately, and there's not. Sorry, I'm getting the hiccups. There's not a story chapter with this one either, which is a bit unfortunate. I think they're going to end up putting the last story chapter that we need for the 7 Deadly Sins storyline in the next festival, if I had to guess. But we're getting login events, we're getting free characters and stuff with the summon tickets, we get a free multi on the banner, we get some UR pendants and stuff from the special missions. They've got the boosting events, they've got pretty much everything you can ask for in a festival. It's just a bit unfortunate that they didn't maybe make like a new event or something. They're bringing back the old like big Hawk event, which is kind of whatever. We do get a new Labyrinth, but it doesn't have a new costume, unfortunately, so that's also a little bit of a letdown. But I like Labyrinth, so it's not really that big of a deal. Payback event, they still locked the SSR costume behind the 900 for some stupid reason. I don't know. There's still some weird things with the UR characters that people are not really going to like, but it is what it is. We have a new Hawk Pass with a Festival King outfit for some reason, but I guess that's cool. And then one of the nice changes here is that costume enhancement materials are actually going from 99 stack to a 999 stack. So that'll save some inventory space and everything, which is kind of nice. But overall, it's looking like a pretty middle of the road festival so far. People in the chat during the live stream were kind of a little let down by some of the events and everything, which is completely fair. And I mean, only 200 diamonds for the login event is maybe a little on the lower side. Sometimes they'll do 300 and everything, and I was kind of expecting more from a global 4-year anniversary, but they typically go more all out when it comes to the JP anniversaries and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll end up finishing off the story during the JP Annie, and we'll get a lot of really cool stuff then. But overall, I think Arthur looks fantastic. I actually really do like the character quite a bit. I'm looking forward to using him. Of course, he'll come out on JP tomorrow and KR, and then he will come out on Global Tuesday. So it'll still be 5 days or so after he comes out on JP. So I think he's looking great. I'm really interested to try him out. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the character. These videos always end up going longer than I think they're going to, but hopefully this was a decent enough recap for you. So if you weren't there in the live stream, feel free to subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't already. I will see you guys later. Hopefully you're excited at the very least, and I will see you guys tomorrow.